Welcome to this fourth class of this series of electricity magnetism course. I am Dr. Rajkishore Mishra. In the last class, I have introduced you a new mathematical tool in vector algebra called gradient, which operates over a scalar field or a scalar function to give rise to a vector quantity, and it is unlike of the general derivative, it is a directional derivative, a derivative which gives the rate of change of the function. In addition to that, it has a direction. The direction is the direction in which this rate of change is maximum. So, if we have say a point charge q and this sphere of radius r is equipotential surface, the potential at every point on the surface is same. It is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. Then we have another equipotential surface which is a sphere of r radius r plus dr if we move a distance dr. So, that this surface has a potential V plus dV and this surface has a potential V. If we move from this surface to this surface in any direction, the rate of change will be maximum only if we move normal to the level surface, and this is the direction of gradient of potential, and this is the direction of electric field, okay, which is normal to the level surface, or the direction of gradient is also normal to the level surface. So, this is the physical meaning of gradient, and the mathematical form is here in Cartesian coordinate system. The gradient, which is represented as a del operator, it is equal to I cap del by del x plus j cap del by del y plus k cap del by del z. Okay. And when this gradient operates over a scalar quantity, it gives rise to a vector. Like vector, it will have three components: an x component I cap del v by del x, y component j cap del v by del y, and z component k cap del v by del z. And grad v dot dr is equal to dv. Okay. And the relationship between electric field and potential is E is equal to minus grad v. This is the differential relationship, and v is equal to line integral of electric field, negative of the line integral of electric field from a reference point infinity, which is taken as reference point infinity to a particular position r. So far we have discussed this. Now we will explore more on this grad operator, and we will discuss another two mathematical tools used in vector algebra, and we take their help to understand physics in a more convenient way, particularly in electrostatics. As I have told, this grad is a differential operator, but it has a direction like a vector. So, like a vector, we can use it, though it is not exactly a vector. When you multiply a vector, we can multiply a vector by a scalar. We can multiply a vector by a vector via dot product or cross product. This you have been taught in your class 11-12 level, that dot product of two vectors gives you a scalar quantity, and cross product of two vectors give you a vector quantity. So, dot product is called scalar product and cross product is called vector product. Similarly, we can use this del operator as dot and cross, but only thing is that instead of multiplying, we will replace the multiplying by act upon. Okay. We will say this del act upon. Now, it acts upon a scalar, that is gradient. If it acts upon a vector, it can act upon a vector through dot, through cross. If it acts through dot, then we call it divergence, and if it acts through cross, we call it curl. So, we will now I will now introduce you to two more operations apart from gradient, that is divergence and curl. Okay. So, obviously, as dot product is a scalar, divergence of a vector will be a scalar and cross product is a vector. So, curl of a vector will be a vector. Okay. So, let me write in tabular form, multiply, here it is act upon, a vector by scalar, say alpha, gives alpha into A, which is a vector in the same direction with magnitude becomes alpha times. Here it acts upon here delta, acts upon a scalar V, gives rise to grad V. This is called gradient of V, which is a vector, which is a vector. V is a scalar, grad V is a vector. Then we multiply a vector by another vector B via dot product, gives rise to A dot B is equal to A B magnitude of A into magnitude of B into cos theta, which is a scalar. Here it we can our delta can act upon a vector A via dot, that is del dot A. This is called divergence of A. This is called divergence of A, which is a scalar. As the dot product is scalar, this is also a scalar. Then, so this is first case, this is second case. Then the third case is multiplication of a vector by another vector via cross product or vector product, cross product, that is A cross B, which is a vector, okay. And the magnitude or A cross B is A B magnitude of A into magnitude of B into sin theta, where theta is the angle between vector A and vector B, and it has a direction specified by unit vector n cap, which is always perpendicular to the plane containing A and B. Okay. You have been taught at class 11 level. So, this is the cross product. Similarly, here it can also, this delta can act upon a vector A via cross product, and this implies your del cross A, and we call it curl of A, which is again a vector. So, divergence of A is a scalar, curl of A is a vector. Okay. So, here we have 3 operations, here also we have 3 operations. Like a vector, it can be used, but it is not a vector. So, del operating over scalar gives you a vector quantity, it is called gradient. Del operating over a vector through dot product is a scalar, it is called divergence. del operating over a vector through cross product is a vector which is called curl of A. Now, let us elaborate more on this divergence and curl. As gradient we have already discussed, this is gradient I cap del by del x plus j cap del by del y plus k cap del by del z, gradient. Now, let A is a vector which has obviously 3 components, I cap x plus j cap a y plus k cap a z. Now, divergence of A, del dot A, div A, div A, we call it divergence of A, del dot A is equal to I cap del by del x plus j cap del by del y plus k cap del by del z. This dot I cap x plus j cap a y plus k cap a z is equal to I cap dot I cap is 1. Now, it is del a x by del x. I cap dot j cap is 0, I cap dot k cap is 0. Then j cap dot I cap 0, j cap dot j cap is 1. It is the next term is del a y by del y. Okay. Similarly, k cap dot I cap 0, k cap dot j cap 0, k cap dot k cap 1. So, it is now del a z by del z. So, this is what the divergence in Cartesian coordinate system. Okay. So, our grad is this much, and now we got divergence of A as del Ax by del x plus del Ay by del y plus del Az by del z. Okay. Now, let us find what is the curl of A. So, obviously, you might have marked that divergence is a scalar quantity. Now, curl of A, curl of A is equal to del cross vector A is equal to I cap del by del x plus j cap del by del y plus k cap del by del z. This cross I cap x plus j cap a y plus k cap a z. Okay. Now, you know the rules of cross product of I cap, j cap, k cap mutually perpendicular unit vectors. I cap cross j cap is plus k cap, j cap cross k cap is I cap, k cap cross I cap is j cap, and if we move in reverse direction it is negative. I cap cross k cap is minus j cap, k cap cross j cap is minus I cap, and j cap cross I cap is minus k cap, and unit cross product of equal unit vectors, that is I cross I is equal to j cross j is equal to k cross k is equal to 0. Okay. So, now here I cross I is 0 and I cross j is k cap. So, it is now k cap del a y by del x, k cap del a y by del x. Okay. Then I cap cross k cap, I cap cross k cap is minus j cap. So, it is minus j cap del by del x of a z. Then j cap cross I cap, j cap cross I cap is minus k cap. So, it is minus k cap del by del y on x operating on x, del x by del y. Then j cross j is 0, j cross k is I cap. So, it is plus I cap del a z by del y plus then k cross I is j cap. So, it is j cap del a x by del z. Then k cross j is minus I cap, it is in the reverse direction, k cross j is minus I cap. So, it is minus I cap del a y by del z, and then the last term k cross k is 0. So, we have got 6 terms, which is equal to, now we pair the I cap terms, then the j cap terms, and of course, k cap terms. There are 6 terms. So, it is equal to, we have to write it in the vector form, having 3 components, I cap into something plus j cap into something plus k cap into something, which are the x component, y component and z component of curl A, which is a vector. So, it is now I cap taking common in these 2 terms, we have I cap into del a z by del y minus del a y by del z, I cap into del a z by del y minus del a y by del z. Okay. Then from these 2 terms, it is plus j cap into, we have del x by del z. So, it is better to write here minus, taking minus as common, your minus j cap into, it is del a z by del x, del a z by del x, and this will become minus, this will become, if we take minus common, this will become plus and this will become minus. So, it will become minus del a x by del z then plus k cap into in these 2 terms, we have del a y by del x minus del a x by del y. So, this is our curl of A. Okay. So, curl of A is a vector quantity whose x component is this, y component is this and z component is this. As we express the cross product in terms of a determinant form, this curl A also we can express it in determinant form. So, that is curl of A is a vector which has this determinant value I cap, j cap, k cap, del by del x, del by del y, del by del z, a x, a y, a z. Okay. You know how to calculate the determinant value, I cap into del a z by del y minus del a y by del z, this term. This one is minus j cap into this, your minus j cap into del a z by del x minus del x by del z, plus k cap into your del a y by del x minus del x by del y. These are the 3 terms. Okay. So, these are the 3 definitions of gradient, divergence and curl. Gradient of scalar quantity, grad of V is a vector, divergence of A is a scalar and curl of A is a vector. These are very useful mathematical tools. We will know how they are useful in course of our discussion, and we can have double operation also on these three quantities or on these three formats. So, we can have this gradient is this vector, and we can have a divergence of a vector and of course, curl of a vector also. So, let us take this double operation. Okay. What are the possible double operations? Grad phi or grad v is a vector. We can take divergence of this vector. So, this will be div of grad of v. Okay. This is div of grad of v, or we can take as curl of this vector, that is curl of grad of v. Okay. So, this is curl of grad of v. Okay. These are two double operations. Then what are other possibilities? We have curl of a vector, which is a vector. We can take divergence of this curl of a vector also. This is divergence of div of curl of a. Okay. Then also we can have a curl of this vector. So, that is curl of a. Okay. This is curl of a. Okay. Then another only one operation left, that is divergence of A is a scalar. We can always take gradient of a scalar. So, this is gradient of div of A. So, these are the 5 double operations possible in the vector algebra. Okay. We will now we will have immediate applications of these two operations, right. So, we will first find out these two operations, then the rest in course of discussion we will derive what are their values. Okay. So, first let us find what is divergence of gradient of V. Grad V is a scalar, sorry, grad V is a vector, because V is a scalar, grad operating on V is a vector. Let that vector is A. Let A is a vector which is equal to gradient of V. Okay. Then what is this? As I have already discussed, it is I cap del V by del x plus j cap del V by del y plus k cap del V by del j. So, this vector has now 3 components, or x component A x is del V by del x, y component A y is equal to del V by del y, and z component A z is equal to del V by del z. Now, what is divergence of A? Divergence of A we have already given, that is del x by del x plus del A y by del y plus del A z by del z is equal to del by del x of, what is x now? Here x is del V by del x. So, del by del x of del V by del x plus del by del y of A y is del V by del y plus del by del by del z of A z. What is A z? It is del V by del z. So, is equal to, this is equal to del square V by, it is double derivative. So, it is del square V by del x square. So, or what is the left hand side? Now, divergence of A means what is A? It is grad V. So, it is the left hand side is divergence of grad V. Divergence of grad V is equal to del square V by del x square plus del square V by del y square plus del square V by del z square. So, this is equal to del square by del x square plus del square by del y square plus del square by del z square operating over V. Operating over V. So, this is now you can see a double derivative operator, while those are single derivatives, these are double derivative operators, and this operator which operates upon V is called Laplacian operator, and we write as a symbol for it as del square. We call it as Laplacian operator, Laplacian operator, and it is written as del square is equal to del square by del x square plus del square by del y square plus del square by del z square. This is again a very special operator which is often used in different branches of physics. This is called Laplacian operator. So, we arrive at the conclusion that divergence of grad V, divergence of grad V is equal to del square V. This is del square V. This is the double operation. Okay. This is very important point. Divergence of grad V is del square V. Now, the second double operation, that is our curl of grad V, curl of grad V. Okay. As before, your grad V is a vector quantity. Let us take this grad V as vector A. Let vector A is equal to grad V. Okay. So, that vector A is equal to I cap del V by del x plus j cap del V by del y plus k cap del V by del z. And what is the x component of A here? A x is equal to del V by del x, A y is equal to del V by del y, and A z is equal to del V by del z. Okay. Now, what is your curl of grad V? It becomes now curl of A, because you have put A is equal to grad V. So, this is now the determinant value I cap, j cap, k cap, del by del x, del by del y, del by del z, x, a y, a z. This we have already derived. Now, we will put the values of x, a y, a z. What is the a x here? Here a x is equal to del v by del x, del v by del x. And what is a y here? Here a y is del v by del y. And what is a z here? A z is del v by del z. So, this is now curl of grad of v, that is curl of A, and we have replaced a x, a y, a z by these three. Okay. Now, let us find out what is this value I cap into del by del y of I cap into del by del y of del v by del z, del by del y of del v by del z minus del by del z of del v by del y. Okay. Minus j cap into del by del x of del v by del z minus del by del z of del v by del x plus k cap into or del by del x of del v by del y k cap into del by del x of del v by del x of del v by del y minus del by del y of del v by del x minus del by del y of del v by del x. Okay. Simple cross product, you have read it at class 11 level, and it is equal to now I cap into this is now del square v by del y del z minus it is again del square v by del z del y. They are the same. Del square v by del y del z is same as the del square v by del z del y. It is just order of operation. So, whether we take derivative with respect to first respect to y, then with respect to z, or first with respect to z, then with respect to y, both are same. So, these two terms are same. So, they cancel out. Okay. Similarly, what is this term here? Minus j cap into del square v by del x del z minus del square v by del z del x. Okay. Again these two terms are same, del square v by del x del z or del square v by del z del x, they are same. So, they cancel out. What is the third term now? Del square v by del x del y minus this is del square v by del y del x. Again they are same, so they cancel out. So, what you find here that the total term becomes 0, they all cancel out. So, what we arrive at, curl of grad v is equal to 0. This is a very very important property of this double operation, that always curl of gradient of a scalar quantity is 0. Okay. So, we have two double operations here. The first double operation gives you a new operator, Laplacian operator, that is del square v, and the second double operation gives you 0. And often we exploit this property to define many things in electrostatics and of course, in different branches of physics. What is this property? That curl of gradient of a scalar is always 0. So, if we can establish any physical quantity whose curl is 0, then we have the liberty to express that vector as the gradient of a scalar. Okay. And we will see this is the situation for our electric field, we will prove it. Okay. So, curl of grad of v is 0, divergence of grad v is del square v. Now, these are all mathematics. Let us come to some physical interpretation. Why do we use these mathematical tools and what is their physical significance? What is the relevance in physics? Okay. Gradient we have already discussed what is its physical significance. It is rate of change in a direction of maximum rate of change. Now, what do you mean by divergence? What is the physical significance of divergence? Divergence of a vector quantity, it shows how much flux are coming out per unit volume from a point. What is the amount of net outward flux coming out per unit volume, Suppose there is a source of water is flowing out. So, the divergence of that rate of flow will give you how much volume of liquid flowing out, or how much flux of this velocity of liquid coming out per unit volume. Okay. So, if it is a source, this divergence is positive. If it is a sink, this divergence is negative. And if the net amount entering into the volume is equal to net amount coming out of the volume, then the divergence is 0. Okay. As we have discussed, electric field always have a source, that is positive charge, and it has a sink, that is at negative charge. So, if we take divergence about a positive source charge, it will be always positive, and it will show how much electric flux is coming out per unit volume. And we measure electric flux, as we have discussed in Gauss law, that electric flux is the net surface integral of electric field over a surface. So, if we take a small surface element and a small volume element, delta V, physical significance of divergence of any vector A, and it shows the net flux A dot ds. Flux is calculated as surface integral of the vector. If it is a closed surface, then integration over the closed surface S, and this flux per unit volume, net flux per unit volume, this gives you the divergence of vector A. So, divergence of vector A is the net flux per unit volume. This is the physical significance. Okay. And we will apply it to Gauss law to find out what will be the divergence of electric field later. If, of course, this volume element should be very small, limit delta V tends to 0, it is a very small volume element. If we have an entire closed surface, and within that closed surface we will divide the volume elements into number of small volume elements, and we sum over all these volume elements, then this will become divergence of A integration over dV, okay, over the volume V. The left hand side, this goes to the left hand side, and we take sum up over all the volume elements, and this summation under this condition for infinitesimal volume elements will become an integration. And what is this? This is a volume integration. So, the volume integration of divergence of the vector will become what? In the right hand side we have the surface integral of the vector over the closed surface. Okay. This is the volume enclosed by this closed surface S. And in fact, this is a very important theorem called Gauss divergence theorem. This is a very important theorem called Gauss divergence theorem. So, Gauss divergence theorem says the surface integral of the normal component of a vector over a closed surface is equal to the volume integral of the divergence of that vector over the volume which is enclosed by the closed surface S. Okay. So, this is a very important relation relating your surface integral and volume integral. When you convert the surface integral into volume integral, you have to take the divergence of that vector, okay, and we will use it in Gauss law. Then coming to the curl of vector, physical significance of curl of a vector. Curl means how the vector circulates. If we talk about the curl of a vector, it means how the vector circulates about a point. Okay. Suppose water is flowing, we put a turbine, small turbine there. This flowing water rotates the turbine. It is its curl effect, it is its circular effect. Okay. And we can prove that if a particle rotates in a circular path and it has a linear velocity v, then curl of v gives you 2 times of its angular velocity. So, curl of a vector relates how it circulates, what is its rotational motion around a point. Okay. So, if a vector, suppose we have an electric field like this, then obviously this will have no curl effect, this is not circulating about a point. But if like this a vector or field is like this, then definitely there will be a circular effect, there will be a curl effect. Okay. And mathematically we say the curl of a vector is the total line integral around a closed curve per unit surface element. As the divergence says that it is the surface integral or total flux per unit volume, this curl says that it is the line integral per unit surface area. So, we can write that the physical significance of curl A as curl of a vector is equal to the line integral of the vector per unit surface element. Of course, this limit delta s tends to 0. Okay. And as before, if we take the summation of all the surface elements and we will take it to the left hand side, this left hand side summation will become a surface integration, and this will lead to a theorem, that is curl of A, the surface integral of curl of A over a surface is equal to the total line integral of the vector A around the curve C, and S is the surface enclosed by the curve C. And this is a very important theorem. This theorem relates your line integral with the surface integral. Okay. And this theorem is called Stokes theorem. This theorem is called Stokes theorem. This one is Gauss divergence theorem and this is called Stokes theorem. So, Gauss divergence theorem relates your surface integral with the volume integral, and Stokes theorem relates line integral with the surface integral. We will find extensive use of these two theorems in electrostatics and in almost all fields of electricity, magnetism and physics, of course. Okay. So, these are the physical significance and double operations, and let us apply this Gauss divergence theorem to our Gauss law. Gauss law has an integral definition, okay. That is Gauss law states that the total electric flux or the surface integral of normal component of electric field over a closed surface is equal to the total charge enclosed divided by epsilon naught. If there is a volume charge distribution, with charge density rho, then we can write the total charge q as the volume integration of rho over the volume V. So, Gauss law becomes integration of E dot ds is equal to integration, instead of rho we will write integration of rho dV over volume V divided by epsilon naught, or integration of E dot ds of course over surface S is equal to, now it is integration over volume of rho dV by epsilon naught, rho by epsilon naught dV. This left hand side is the surface integration, as I have discussed right now, that this surface integration can be converted into a volume integral using Gauss divergence theorem. So, using Gauss divergence theorem, this surface integral becomes a volume integral, and we have the left hand side becomes divergence of E dV over volume is equal to, now the right hand side is integration of rho by epsilon naught over volume. Gauss law now appears in this form, and this volume is arbitrary. Since the two integrations are equal, the two integrands must be equal. So, this implies divergence of E is equal to rho by epsilon naught. This is called differential form of Gauss law. Okay. So, Gauss law has two forms. The integral form is integration of E dot ds is equal to q by epsilon naught. This is integral form. And the differential form of Gauss law is divergence of E is equal to rho by epsilon naught. This is very important, the differential form of Gauss law. So, let us end here this divergence theorem and its application to Gauss law. In the next class, we will talk more about the nature of electric field, curl of electric field, and again the another property of conservative field, and we will go to a more important equation or very fundamental equation in electrostatics, that is Laplace equation using this vector algebra. Okay? Thank you.